Well, I think it's about that time. Let's go take the truck for a spin. Peterbilt 377 reveal right now. Let's go. There, what do you guys think? Not bad for a budget truck. 1999 Peterbilt 377. Back for a new life on the farm. We went through, if you guys have seen the other videos, which you should go back and watch if you haven't, we took out the C12 that was in here. It had water in it, it froze, didn't have coolant. Block got destroyed. We don't know 100% what's been done to it, but someday we'll pull it apart. But the heater core was broken, shattered in pieces too. So clearly there was frozen water in a lot of places. So that came out. We salvaged our Peterbilt 378's 3406B that was in there. Good running engine, but just needed some fine tuning. Equipped it with some new injectors from PDI Diesel as well as the Big Boss. So that baby's up and running strong. Got it all painted. Put that in here, as well as the 18-speed that came out of that 378. Put that in here too, because this originally had a 10-speed in it. Went through, cleaned it up, fixed some stuff on the suspension, had to shorten the drive shaft, cleaned the tanks up, put new plastic fenders on the back. I love these fenders because they keep gravel. If you drive on gravel roads and mud, you'll know right away how much you don't like gravel and mud with semi tires, throwing stuff up under your trailer, and it just makes a mess of everything. So you got to get something to wrap around these. If you're gonna be on gravel roads, you got to do this. Otherwise, the back of your cab will be just destroyed. We have broken windows from rocks throwing up. So that's what that's about. But no, it's a solid truck. It sounds amazing. The pipes, exhaust. I was misspoke earlier in a video. It's not 7-inch. They're 6.6-inch exhaust. So still pretty close, but beautiful exhaust. Sounds amazing. Jake's singing great. Let's take a peek in the cab. Oh, well, somebody got upgraded. Yeah, the old steering wheel, it was flaking apart. Wasn't very good. So, yeah, we upgraded to some chrome. She looks nice. Clean interior, real clean interior. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with this. Got our Jake switch on the shifter here and our sweet bent shifter that I bent so you don't slam your hand into the parking brake. Pretty simple dash. We added an EGT and a boost gauge and a transmission gauge on here, but I don't like these gauges, so they're coming out. We're putting some different ones in here. Those were cheap. We're gonna go more expensive, put better ones in, so we haven't gotten to that yet. But overall, nice interior. Put new handles on it, new window openers. This handle was shot. Now it's nice and tight. Oh, it clicks so well. Before you had to pull it out to about here, and then it went, and then it opened up. So that's done too. So this begs the question then, what are we gonna pull with this truck? Well, probably a grain trailer. And we've got the Demco on the 9370. We've got the old Mauer, which is now Demco, on our Blue Peterbilt. We call it the Blue Pete, which now we've got a problem because this is a Blue Pete. That's a Blue Pete. Anyways, we got a problem. So you need to let us know, what are we gonna call this thing? Is it the Blue Pete? Is it the Cat Pete? It's the only Pete we have with a cat in it. I don't know, what do you guys want to call it? Let me know in the comments below. But back to where we were, scatterbrain. What are we gonna pull with it? Like I said, we had the Demco on the 9370. We had the Mauer on the other Blue Pete. And then we had that old steel trailer that we pulled with the old 378 red beater Peter that we got rid of. And then we also traded a drop deck for an aluminum Wilson that we had for just a little bit. So we went ahead and just said, let's get rid of the old two and let's upgrade. So come over here. So it only made sense to go with the Demco. Had to match the fleet. We called up our buddies at Demco and said, hey, we got this truck build we're doing. We'd like to get away from that old steel trailer that we had, and then that Wilson that we traded a Brandt grain deck for. We decided we didn't really want that either. It just wasn't really a good fit. So we're like, what if we get rid of those two trailers? Do you have anything that would fit our truck? And they said, yeah, we got just the thing for you. So it's a 42-foot steel Demco trailer. It's doesn't have airbags, steel suspension, doesn't have automatic openers or an automatic tarp. But that's okay, because like I said, this is a budget project. You guys know the crops we've had the last couple of years. They haven't been great. And this year is not looking great. We'll know when we get to harvest. So we just can't throw money to everything, but we really wanted to get this upgrade done and get 3 good trailers, 3 good trucks in this farm that we can count on and run. And though that's where this trailer makes a lot of sense for us. Once you take off a couple of those things, had to keep the shiny wheels though, that's important, so we kept the chrome. But the trailer itself is gonna be very functional. And the cost between this and that beautiful 377 over there, the amount of work that this is gonna get done for the amount of money we have in it is huge. Our cost per mile, per pound, whatever you wanna say, is exponentially low compared to what it'd be to, well, get some really nice new stuff. This is new though, that's right. But it is nice. So that's the trailer's gonna go. So let's hook it up to the Pete. Let's go for a spin, let's see how it pulls. And you know what? Hopefully have a good crop to put in it this year. Let's go. You guys are probably wondering where Leg Arms is. He's right here. It's just, he makes friends sometimes with wrong things. And for whatever reason, he made a friend with the virus, and now he sounds like
Batman.
So I'm doing the talking.
Just, you know, I am Batman right now.
So you guys don't want to hear that, right? Or do you? But he gets to be the lucky guy to drive it. So fire her up. Let's hear her snort. Let's go mate this thing with a trailer. was my ride? What was I doing out of the truck? I have no idea.
You know what I love? These splitter gears. So nice.
Does the boost gauge work? Gotta read the middle one, right? There was 18.
That's 20 on that one.
20?
Okay, let's see. 25 right there.
Almost 30. Still haven't tuned her up real hot yet. That's coming. When I say hot, like another 50 horsepower. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. She's a beaut. She's a beaut. You'll see lots of it soon. It's a beautiful day. You know what that means? Let's go look at some crops. It's been a couple weeks. I'll give you guys an update. And let's take the Outlander for a spin. Yeah, this thing rides so nice. Yep, it's a beast. All right, let's see here. All right, first stop, lentils, because we did that last time, so let's do that first this time. Here's what's going on with the lentils. Well, they've gotten bushier. They sure have. And they're flowering big time. Look at all those flowers. Lots of little flowers. No pods yet, but lots of flowers. Well, wait. No, hang on a second. Yeah, there's one right there. There's a lentil being made right there. So, lentils overall, I would say look really good. I mean, lentils are known for being really drought resistant crops. They're so short. They don't get much taller than this. That's like it. I mean, they might get in a perfect situation maybe this tall, but it's gonna be a drag the header situation. But for what they're worth, you just do it. So let's talk rain. So since the last video, we had roughly a tenth a couple days after that, which I know is like nothing. And then just last night, we had another 2/10 of rain over the farm and some of there over here. Some of the land up north didn't catch that. And then I think about 3 or 4 days ago, we had a 3/10 rain. So some of the farms gotten about a ½ inch of rain since the last video. Some of it's gotten just over a 1/4 inch or so to 2/10. So no big rains really, but enough to kind of keep things going along. I mean, you can look, there's still some wet ground underneath the lentils right here. So they had some moisture. So lentils, so far, I mean, they look pretty good. There's only 150 acres of lentils. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, if we have a bumper lentil crop, it's going to be a huge payday when you've got a 70-some 100-acre farm and only 150 acres of its lentils. But it's nice to see, and it'll make some seed for next year. Here's our winter wheat. As I predicted, it's short. You know, it stunted when it was really stressing. The bottom leaves, it kind of finished firing off those bottom leaves, so it looks better, but it's fully headed, and you can see it's patchy. It's not very thick. There's a lot of white going on the top of these heads. See these heads all that got that little white layer there? That's stress, all kind of straggly, and they were hurting, but they did get a little bit of that rain on and off. So, I mean, these heads I think are going to fill for the most part. You pull, that's a nice head right there. Look how long that thing is. Looks like a barley. You know, the kernels I think are going to fill on a lot of this. So, I don't know. To predict what the winter wheat's going to make at this point, we're still several weeks out. I mean, it's going to be probably the first week of August by the time we get into this field. But I just looking at this, I would say we're going to be between 50 and a little over 20 bushels. Or sorry, 15 and a little over 20 bushels an acre. It's kind of what I'm guessing on this winter wheat. Might make 25 in spots, but it just doesn't look like a 25 bushel crop to me. You just don't know until you get the combine in there. Ruling's out on that one. So let's move on. Let's find some spring wheat and some yellow peas. Now, real quick, I just want to pull over to this winter wheat field here. It's on the way. And it looks quite a bit better than that other one we were at. I mean, there's a lot more plant going on here. This is definitely better. Same kind of stress, but I mean, there's a lot more heads in this. So this could be 25 bushel in some of this. I mean, it might make 30 in some areas. That would be awesome. So that's good to see. We'll keep going. Let's find that spring wheat, find those yellow peas. All right, here's our peas. And there is pods. Look at the pods. There we go. I need a new helmet. These helmets stink. Well, they're short. I hear they're short. They're really short. Oh, those are short. Oh man. This is also the headland. The headland always is shorter than it should be, just because it's a lot of competition going on there. All right, these are a little taller here. Let's see here. There, now we're out of the headland. So, what are you, about 13, 14 inches tall, somewhere in that area? Peas can go, you know, they can be up to your waist in a good pea field. A lot of pods, a lot of pods. They're filling right now. So you can open this up in one hand. I'm mashing the peas. There we go, there's some peas. Okay. There we go, see the peas? Definitely not full size yet. Those are about a third of the size they're gonna get. They get pretty big. They're very tasty right now. Very yummy. But the flowering has pretty much stopped. It's like there's a flower right there. That one's drying up. That one down there is still flowering, so that'll still produce a pod. There's a pod there. But if we count pods, let's just pick a plant. Okay, this one right here. So that one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pods and two blossoms left. So that could produce 7 pods on that plant. That one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a 6, 7 blossoms. So that one produced 7 as well. Looks like some of these have potential to start another pod. Once the flower burns off, if it burns too early, it's not going to make a pod. And the weather next week's supposed to hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit for a couple days. So our cool weather we've had really great growing weather. It's been highs of 70, 75, cool 40 to 50 at night. If you're dry, that's the kind of weather you want, and that's what it's been. So that's definitely what's gonna keep a lot of these going. But when it gets to 100 degrees next week, that one's got some bigger peas in it. I suspect some of those blossoms are gonna burn off and probably won't become a pod. So we're looking at 4 to 6 pods of plant probably when we're said and done. And just if they all fill, to my experience, that's probably teens for yield. But it's hard to say. Some of this might push 20 bushels an acre in some of the nice spots, and a lot of it's probably considered around that 10 to 15 bushels. So my prediction is 15 across the board, which is a lot better than last year, but not by a lot. Does that make sense? A good pea crop for us would be 25, 30 bushel, 35 on a really good year. All right, now for the spring wheat. Let's get out of the headland here. Already seeing a lot of color changing happening. This is probably seeded towards the later part of the spring wheat season. So this is a little bit of younger wheat compared to some of the earlier spring wheat. But, I mean, yeah, you can tell it's hurting. Look at these leaves. It's like disease on it. Isn't that amazing? They got stressed really hard. And it's tough to say exactly what this will end up being. There's heads, not a lot of them. It's a good head. Look how long that thing is. And it has a chance to fill all these kernels up, but I don't know if it will. If we get another rain here in the next week or two, there's a good chance it will. the rain that I got the other night put some moisture in the ground. If you look down here, you can see there's some moisture there. So it's gonna use that. And the potential is, like I was saying in the earlier video, you know, it was way up here and it went down, 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 down. Well, now we're at a point where, you know, I bet you we're under the 20 bushel potential for this field. It might make high teens if it gets a little more rain and doesn't get crazy hot. I don't like that. That is weird. I'm gonna need to talk to somebody about that. I don't know if that's just stress from drought, but that looks like a disease on it. Definitely gonna have to look at that and see what's going on. But the rest of this, I mean, there's like, look at this spring wheat plant right here. This one hasn't even made heads yet. You know, the rest of these are headed now, and this one hasn't even done it yet. And I really don't know what the answer is to that, other than maybe it's just was just stressing and just hadn't had a chance to really develop some heads. But yeah, it's definitely shorter than it should be. The other thing you're gonna run into is this. So that got sprayed for herbicide, that weed, and it does show some signs of curling and whatnot, but without being much of a canopy here, because this wheat wasn't able to really fill, what's going to happen is some of these weeds that are hiding in these rows like this, by the time harvest comes, because a weed can somehow always manage to grow well, will be this tall, and it's going to be a bugger running that through the combine because it'll still be green while this is ripe. But this field doesn't look very good. Does not look good at all. A lot of spots on these things. I'm gonna find out what that is. Another thing wheat does is it turns blue, the stems, when it's really stressing for water, and you can see the blue in there. A lot of blue. That's amazing. I'm gonna take those too. Why not? I wanna show you guys our worst stuff. This is by far the worst stuff. This was CRP ground that we took out this spring. We sprayed it out and seeded direct into it. It's gonna have the least water because it had alfalfa, grasses, clover, all kinds of stuff growing on it until we converted it back to farmland again. And so there wasn't any moisture to begin with, but that's gonna be fun to run the combines over. Yeah, that's 3 or 4 bushel wheat there, maybe if that. Oh, look at those heads. Look at that thing. It's so cute. Oh, and these have that leaf deal too. It must be just drought stress. Gotta be drought stress. It's way over here. This is well over a mile away. So, yeah. Some of that didn't even grow heads. Isn't that amazing? Now, we didn't have a lot of hopes for this ground. We knew it'd be a miracle to grow a nice crop on this. You just had to have a really wet spring to grow something on this worth anything. So I sent a picture to a buddy that knows a little more than me, and he said that's called tan spot. That's going on those leaves. It's a fungus. It's definitely a problem. The thing is, to put fungicide on this to try to stop this from being any worse is dumping money into the fire, because you're not going to increase the yield any by putting fungicide on it right now. It's already a pretty hurt crop, so it's really no good to do that, but that's a bummer. They say tan spot usually thrives, just from my research, wet, windy conditions. Well, we've had windy conditions, exceptionally windy, but not wet, so that's weird. Really strange that that's the thing here right now. I'm gonna have to show my dad that, and we're gonna talk about it, because that's weird. All right, I figured I'd hit one more spring we filled up on the way back. This ground up here is harder, so it's and you can see we got some peas that got seeded from the pea field over there, and that's what that is. But this is, oh man, this is droughted pretty bad. This crop's gonna turn quick. I don't see any more of that tan spot here. This is further to the west, upwind. I'm looking on the leaves. I mean, it doesn't really look too much like it. These leaves are so bad. That one right there, what's that? Looks like it's got some on it. So maybe there's a little bit here. It's not as bad as that field earlier that I showed you. Well, there we go. Quick pass around the farm. Give you guys an update what's going on. So, best crop right now on the farm, honestly, it would either be peas or the lentils would be my vote. Second best, third best, winter wheat, and then spring wheats. It's hurting pretty bad. And that tan spot, definitely not a good thing. We'll see how much that actually affects it. The heat next week should roast that. But yeah, you know, could we put more seed treat on the wheat? That might have helped clean it up a little bit, but whether it took a 11 bushel crop down to a 9 bushel at the cost of seed treat, he'd be a wash. So at that point, you're really not accomplishing a whole lot. So, but anyways, hope I guys give you a good update. We'll know more soon, but we're gonna have a crop to cut. We'll be out there in the combine, so it'll be fun. Cool. Let's get to vacation. That's what this is for. I'm going on vacation. I'd invite you guys, but the boat's not big enough, so next time.